And I'm Heather.
Welcome to Small Town Big Thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
We still are without Reba. She's still in Europe.
Yes.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
She's recovering from Europe.
Yeah. When she said they walked like 20,000 steps a day.
Yeah. Wild.
I need that in my life. So is that common in Europe, do you think?
Yes.
Just like walk all day?
Yes.
That would be nice. I mean,
everything's so close together. Like even if you live like on the outskirts of town, you can grab a taxi, head into town, and then just walk everywhere.
I feel like whenever I went to Spain, it was like, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to take a taxi to go to the beach, which was like, mind you, 3 miles away. And everybody was like, you're going to take a taxi? It's like a 20-minute walk. And I was like, 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? It would take me like 5 hours to get down there.
That's the issue with America.
I know. But like, I feel like here, everything, do you think they do this on purpose? Like, everything's all spaced out. Just, I don't know, for shits and gigs.
Maybe.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said something about like they don't know why America never put in trains, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, like why we don't have like trains as normal travel these days. I mean, like at one point in time, you could take a train, right?
Right, but there's like so many like abandoned train tracks all around Oklahoma, at least in the towns where we live.
Yeah, and I mean,
the ones that are still open are only used for like hauling stuff back and forth.
Yeah, you can't like. I think the closest place to get on a train is like Oklahoma City, and you can take it to Dallas. And that's like a 2-hour drive, anyways.
I would like to rent a train. You've been on a train with Mom and Dad, right?
Yeah, I mean, we went like down the thing and back.
Still more than me.
It was pretty cool. It was in Colorado Springs, somewhere around there, the Royal Gorge. We saw some goats. Oh, I did go on a train with Diego too. We went to in Manitou Springs or whatever. They have a train that goes to the top of the mountain, and that was quite the show. That was pretty crazy. There was a couple points that I was like, I don't know if the train is gonna keep going. They might need to add some more coal or something. But it was like, because it was so steep going up, it was crazy. And then, but there was all kinds of like goats and antelopes or something, and it was very hard to breathe when we got to the top. I was walking around for like a couple minutes, which mind you, it was like freezing cold. It was wintertime whenever I went there, and it was freezing cold. And then I get to the top, and I can't breathe. I'm sweating. I'm wearing this sweater, and I'm like I'm like dying, and I'm like, why do people run? Like, you know what I mean? Like they go to Colorado and they run in the mountains, and then they come back, and I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, we also took a trip to Colorado around the same time. You went with Mom and Dad, and I went with friends from school. Yeah, we ended up just going with my buddy's older friend to Denver, and we just sent her into all the dispensaries to buy us stuff, and we just hung out in the hotel room and ate edibles and got high. It's fun. And then we did some shopping at that outlet mall that they had over there.
See, whenever Victoria and I went to Fort Scott, and we went down to Denver, like there was like nothing to do in Denver. You know what I mean? Like I was like, why do people come here?
I enjoyed it. We went to, they have like this outdoor mall near downtown, and it's like it was pretty big. But like they have trolleys that run through it to take you to like different stores, and
We went there, but we didn't take the trolley.
oh well, we had so much fun there, and then we just walked around. We literally visited every store, looked at all the artwork and stuff that were painted on the sides of the buildings, and yeah, we had a blast. So we went into this like one store. It was like a magic shop. They sold like little magic kits and stuff, and they like board games and pranks and stuff like that. It was fun. Yeah, like costumes and stuff in there. Place looked like a castle.
We did go to whatever national park is in between Fort Scott and Denver. Um, we went there and we drove through the park and we didn't see shit. It was just a bunch of trees and grass and snow and then we went up this one thing and then it was like road closed, slippery ahead, and we were like fuck. So we walked up a little ways and we were like, yep, slippery as fuck.
That reminds me of when we went to Yellowstone. I don't know about you, but like, I was so disappointed by it. Like, we went to go see Old Faithful. I like was expecting something like really big and like exciting, and it's very anticlimactic. There's been a few things I've gone to see that everybody's like, "Oh, it's amazing! You have to see it at least once in your life," and I'm like, "Do we?" Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore. I was very, very disappointed by Mount Rushmore. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
I imagined that Mount Rushmore would be just as appealing in person as it would be if you saw a picture of it.
Better in the pictures because you get there and you're like, "Man, it's so far away. It's so small. Like you can't even see the details of it." And it's like the closest you can get to it, they have like this platform, and with how far away it is, like you could hold your thumb up and your thumb would like still cover it.
Really?
And like anything you see like in the movies or whatever, it looks like when you're up on that platform at the park there, that it's like right there. But no.
I
And then they make you pay like $5 for parking. I didn't
see.
realize that. And you can literally just pull over on the side of the road and get the same view and take the same pictures. Like you're paying $5 to park, so you could go walk through a gift shop. That's
See, that's what I hate about America. We're just like everybody just wants your money.
it.
They're like, "Hey, do you want to come see nothing and also pay us for it?" Like, okay, thanks.
Even Dad was disappointed.
Um, but I think also whenever we went to Yellowstone, I was like,
Over it already.
yeah. Like as soon as we walked up and there was a bajillion people there, and they were all just standing there with their phones out, waiting for a fucking hour for this for water to come out of the ground.
Mhm.
I was like, okay.
And then all I can really remember about that trip is like when we uh, our niece Erwin was like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I don't know if you came with us, but I remember going with her to the bathroom, and we walked in and it was disgusting. There was poop on the floor, there was pee on the floor, toilet paper everywhere. It was just the nastiest bathroom I have been in. And even Erwin was like, "No, I'm not using this." Turned around and walked out of the bathroom. She was like, what, 12 at the time?
No, no.
She might have been about 12 at the time. She's like, "Hey, even I'm not using this." Mm,
Public bathrooms in America.
disgusting.
I mean, it's probably everywhere, but I don't
Anytime I worked at the casino, I worked my ass off to make sure that that bathroom was clean because I've seen too much stuff happen in casino bathrooms.
I don't know. I just don't go to the bathroom if it's gross.
But
It's, um,
yeah, chances I'm weird because like 9 times out of 10, if I can hold it till I get home, I will. I will not use a public bathroom if I can help it. So, like, if I'm using the bathroom in public, just know it's an emergency.
Um,
I refuse.
if I gotta go, I gotta go.
Mm-mm.
I'm like,
I
gotta
will
go.
hold that stuff. I will hold it.
Give yourself a UTI or some shit.
My body's used to it.
Not me, man.
I
I'm
used to
like, I
hold
gotta
it on
go.
our car rides going to freaking New Mexico. You
Yeah.
guys would like stop halfway through. I gotta pee, and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna sleep through it.
Yeah, not me.
Maybe I'm weird.
I don't know. Whenever I was driving here, I got literally all the way here, and then I was like, it's kind of hot in my car.
Please turn the heat on.
I didn't even have anything on. It was just like no air. Everything was on zero. I was like, makes sense. And then I turned the air on, and I was like, that feels so good.
And then that was me this morning. I took a really hot shower this morning, and I got out and I walked into my bedroom, and we had this big box fan, and it was just blowing and cold air, and I was like, oh yeah, that's great. I steamed out the bathroom like my skin was red because the water was so hot,
I
and then
know.
the cold water or the cold air hit, and I was like, oh, perfect.
Like whenever you get out of like a hot tub or a sauna or something,
Mhm.
and then you're like, yeah. I was watching, you know, one of those things, um, and they were talking about Disney adults, like how weird they are, and I was like, finally, I found somebody who has the exact same opinion as me.
I love Disney.
But like the obsessed people, like the people who are like 40 years old, don't have any kids, and they go to Disney every year, or like they live at Disney, or they go to Disney like 7 times a year, and they dress up as Tinkerbell every time they go, and like shit like that. Like those people weird me out. I'm
I
like,
mean, I guess they're a
what?
little odd, but
I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so emotionally stunted? Why did you never grow up? What like I always thought that it was weird that, which I love Kourtney Kardashian, but I always thought that it was weird that she was one of those people like obsessed with Disneyland.
mhm.
And I was like, but like why? They traffic children, they feed you sugar all day, and and what? For what? Like you're there and you're standing in fucking lines all day to ride a ride that you could go to fucking anywhere and ride. I mean, you could go to Six Flags and get the same shit. Like, what the fuck? Just because your car looks like Dumbo and that car looks like a race car, there's no fucking difference. You know what I mean? It's the same place and it's like 50 times more money. Like,
I've always thought if I went, like, you just getting around to like see everything, like people have to go multiple days in order to see the whole park. Like,
that's
that's wild to me.
yeah, that's weird. That's crazy. I'm not going to the same place for multiple days in a row. Like, who goes on vacation for that?
I mean, it'd be one thing if you got like a hotel room that was like inside the park, and like that's
Can
you
you
planned your
imagine?
whole trip.
So,
But like you plan your whole trip around it, and but
they have,
imagine paying like admission every day to get in just to do that.
right? Well, they have like, um, I'm sure they have like passes, but now they have the all inclusive food shit.
I don't know.
Yeah, they have like it's like all inclusive food, and you can. They like well, the video that I watched, she was he was saying that, yeah, you can pay him like $900 and we'll have a churro in your mouth every 30 minutes. And I was like, I am sure though. I am sure that's exactly what it is. But I've also
$5
seen,
per
well,
churros?
I don't know. I don't know how much it was. He was probably being exaggerating. But I'm sure it's like really expensive. And then, but then also I've seen reviews where people are like, oh yeah, I did the Disney all inclusive meal plan, and you, like you have to pick, you have to pre pick where you want to eat, like where you're going to be that day. You know what I mean? So like if you're going to this section of the park on Monday, then you want your meal plan to be from that section. And if you're, it's not like I paid X amount of money for food. Here, scan my wristband type of. It's not like you go whenever you go to Mexico and they just like scan your wristband. It's not like that. It's like you like pick and choose. Yeah, you have to like pre-plan your meals. It's like meal
That's
prepping
more
your
effort
sugar.
than I wanna put into something. It's like,
Right.
I'd rather have the wristband where they're like, "Oh, you paid $500 to have all these meals throughout the week? Sure, I'll just scan your wristband and the total will come off of that." Or, you already like, since it's prepaid, Disney's like, "Okay, well, you can have this certain amount of meals and the price of it doesn't matter. You can just have this certain set amount of meals."
Right.
So, I don't know.
I mean, because
To me, that would be easier.
some people are there fucking all day, like literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine that they serve a single well balanced meal in that place.
Well, I'm just telling you, if I go, I'm only gonna last like
As I'm
3 hours.
exhausted.
I'm only gonna last like 3 hours because that amount of walking is gonna kill my hips. As a big girl, I would make
Oh,
it.
that was another was another thing. He said there's like a subgenre on YouTube of people who create videos about what shoes to wear to Disney, and like get these special orthopedic shoes and da 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 da, and like this is how much walking you're gonna do, and like they just talk about that. And then
At that point, I would just invest in a scooter.
well, yeah, and then he said that there's people who are like, I want to go to Disney, but I refuse to walk. And then there's like people like that, and then they're like, I just want somebody to push me around Disneyland, and I'm like, then don't go. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you want to go and you want to spend the $200 or whatever to go for a couple hours, then I mean, I feel like that's your choice. You know what I mean? But I feel like you shouldn't like have somebody assigned to you to push you around the park.
I would rather just get one of those, what's it called? Segways, something like that, and
Oh,
just
that would be cool.
motor around Disney.
That's probably not allowed. With all the crowds and stuff. But I mean, I just think that it's so crazy. Which he was talking more about the like people who like they're probably emotionally stunted as their children, like they like permanently have like the opposite of Peter. Is it Peter Pan syndrome? Like where they're like, I'm a kid forever. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's something that happened to some people, and they're just like, I'm a kid forever. Yay! And I'm like, that is not the point of life.
Mhm.
The point of life is to be a functioning adult and to be able to function in society, not pretend that you are 7 years old until you die.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that it can be cool to like look at, and they've like pretty much designed an entire world around their animation films.
Right. Like the only thing that I would really be interested in seeing if I were to go would be like maybe the Harry Potter stuff, and I know Chance would want to see all the Star Wars stuff and make his own lightsaber and everything because he's a nerd. Which, I mean, I'm not that into Star Wars, but I think that would be really cool to like be able to make your own lightsaber. The videos look really interesting. Like they have like this workshop that you can go in. You can like pick the crystals and like build it yourself, and it's like a legitimate lightsaber, but it's also like $300 to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
I
think
feel
that
like
would
I'm
be
not ready
cool.
to invest that much.
Right. It's like I don't want to pay that much for something, but it's like how much are the Ollivander wands for Harry Potter and shit?
Yeah, I was gonna say I have no idea what that even is.
They're probably a pretty penny. I'm not sure, but that would be a cool like souvenir that I would want. But then again, I may never go to Disney
I will probably never go to Disneyland ever in my life.
because I don't know if it's worth it. The amount of pain and discomfort I would be in, the anxiety I would have from how many people were there, especially with having Ellie, like my anxiety would be through the roof, and so would my stress.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be worth it.
Yeah. Um, I don't think that. Yeah. No. Not for me,
So
man.
you'd rather just go down to Dallas and go to Six Flags.
So else? What else is going on?
We've been fixing up the backyard. So we got that little pool put in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we got like a little gazebo thing, like one of those pop up ones that covers like half of it, and I just put solar lights in it a couple days ago.
I was gonna say whenever I pulled up the other day, it looked like the tarp had ripped off. What?
We took it off because it had been raining, and for whatever reason, the top of it started filling with the rainwater, and we would have to go out and like get a stick to like get all of it out. We were afraid that that was gonna damage it, so we just took it off until like the rain quit. So it's just been naked. But I wrapped before we put the tarp back on the other night. I wrapped it with the solar lights. They're just like little string lights. And they're multicolored. It's so cute. And then we have a projector screen that we're gonna hang up. We'll have like date night, movie night. Ellie can come out with us. Put like glow sticks in the pool. Then she can play in the water. We'll have like a movie going on the projector screen. It'll be so much fun.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Heck yeah. I don't. Well, Diego's gonna put up our pool later this week, but um, for now, I got my compost bin going. Really excited about that. I've got it like halfway filled up, which I guess is easy to do with the amount of friggin' grass that I've been having to pull out of my garden. Um, but I
Did you see that one TikTok I sent you about the tarps and stuff that you can put down? I'll have to show you when we get done.
but I but so I've been putting stuff in there in my compost, and it's been composting. So I feel like I need to add another section so I can like turn it over, And then I've got like some compost starter that I need to add in there. I kind of just like going at a really slow pace, but it's fine. And then I've got like a bajillion sunflowers growing, and then one corn. I planted 2 rows of corn. I have one single corn stalk growing, and I'm so sad about that. I did find some beans the other day in there. Um, so that was good. And
Did you
then
plant your beans with the corn?
yeah,
Do it the old native way?
yeah, I did, and I squash. And
Yes.
but I only have one corn, so that's not gonna work. But I do have some poles that I can put out there, so I'll probably do that.
They have like a 12 pack at Walmart of like bamboo sticks that you can just stick in the ground for your plants to like grow up.
There's
Yeah. We got some of those the other day for our cucumbers, and I think he's trying to get the cantaloupe to grow up them as well. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see.
I'm going to so I have like one arch for my cucumbers to grow up, and then I think I might do another one. Probably not this year because I don't know what's what right now. So but I think I'll probably next year I'll put in one or two more and then do one for like my cantaloupe, and then one for my honeydew and stuff like that.
Yeah. We've been having a really bad issue with roly polies. I think
Vegan
they
stuff.
I think they killed our potatoes. I'm not sure. But there's like so many of them. Like I have never seen so many roly polies in my life. Like I went even like in my flower bed. I went to go plant something and I hit this pocket. It's like the size of a golf ball, just full of roly polies, all just laying together in this pocket of soil. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? When I uncovered them, they all just went out everywhere, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this normal? How do we get rid of them?
I don't feel like roly polies are like a bad species. You know what I
I
mean?
didn't think they were, but our potato ever since they've gotten really bad, our potatoes have just died. And we went to go like dig through them to see if maybe we have potatoes, but there's no potatoes, and the plants are dying. Like there's a couple potatoes, but they're like only like yay big. So like I don't know if we did something wrong or if it was them or bugs. I'm not sure because we had no problem growing potatoes last year.
I don't know. That's weird. Did you go on?
No, Chance did. He bought some stuff to sprinkle out in the yard and see if that would help. But we'll see.
Yeah. I started back to school.
Yes.
Um,
How's that going?
I just finished my second week. I took my first test, and microbiology is really hard. I probably should not have skipped it after, like, well, I didn't have to take it for my degree, but I also like chose a degree that I wouldn't have to take very many science courses. Which I say that, but I did take like physiology and nutrition and personal wellness and stuff like that. But I took more kinesiology, so like learning about the body and stuff like that. I did more of that rather than like microscopes and shit because I was trying to avoid that
Yeah.
in my career. But I so I'm going to school or I'm taking prerequisites to be a dietitian nutritionist, and so I started this little journey, um, because I think mostly because I was at the mental health place, the um that clinic that I was working at, and but I whenever I was working there, I was like, I would see people that were on, which this is also at the same time I was learning about like the food dyes and how they can affect you and how they can mimic symptoms of ADHD and things like that. And but I did tend to notice that the people who would call in constantly about their kids and be like they would call in and they would be like, "Yeah, Sally Joe got in trouble at school again this week because she was running her mouth and she wouldn't shut up in class, and so I had to go pull her out of school because she was just talking and talking and talking." And I was just like, I really wanted to just be like, what do you feed this kid? You know what I mean? Like, do you feed this? Do you just give him sugar all day? Like what? Like, you know what I mean? And then there was like other people that I don't know how to explain this. Like, you know how you can just like tell when people are low income. You know what I mean? Like they would call and they would be like the mom would be like, "Oh, well my phone got shut off because of X, Y, and Z and the food stamps ran out and da 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 da." And you know, and it would just be like things like that. And then they would be like, "Oh yeah, well, I couldn't make dinner or whatever, so my kid went to school without food, and then the teacher said something about it, and I'm pissed off, and the kid said something to the teacher about it, and da 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 da," and I'm just like, it just stressed me out because I was just like I wasn't the doctor, so like
Mhm.
I was just the person answering the phones, and but like I had all of this information, not only that I had learned from like my classes that I had taken, like community wellness, nutrition, kinesiology, like how to get energy out of the body, like how your body uses energy, and different things like that. And on top of that, I had taken psychology's child psych from whenever my degree was to be a teacher.
Mhm.
And so I feel like I had just had all this knowledge, and I was just like in this position where I couldn't say anything. And it was just so stressful because, like, I can't give it clinical advice. You know what I mean? Like, they have to see the doctor. And, but then I was like, you just need to change your child's diet, or you just need to let your kid run around when they get home outside, or you just need to tell your kid that they can't be on your phone for the whole entire time that they get home from school and to the time they go to bed. Like, you just have to like do these little changes to help with your child. And then like at other times, like it would just be like 100%, I would be like, it's the parents' fault. You know what I mean? I would just be like, how do you not see that you're the issue? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like I didn't have to necessarily be in that position to make those observations, but
Mhm.
it just made those observations so clear to me. And so, but most of it was like nutritionally, I would like patients, like little kids would come in with, they would literally have a 44-ounce soda to go to their medical appointment, and they would have like a bag of donuts. And then their little sibling would also have like a bottle of Mountain Dew and like a bag of donuts or
Mhm.
whatever, some kind of like sugary snack food, a bag of chips, Doritos.
Which, in their defense, it's kind of hard to find snacks when you're on the go and in a rush. At like, say, you just rushed out of the house, you're in a hurry, and you just stopped at the gas station to grab something real quick. It's hard to find anything that's not sugary or anything like that because anything that's not going to be sugary is going to be like $10 at the gas station, and no parent's going to pay that much for a snack for their kid because they're probably not going to eat it anyway. They're just going to grab a pack of donuts and call it good.
In my opinion, the parent should be more prepared and should have, they could bring an apple, bring a banana, bring an orange from the house.
You know, I did that one time, and then Ellie threw the apple at me and hit me. And when I was driving down the road,
Well, why would you give her an apple while you're driving down the road?
she was crying and wanted food.
So you gave her a whole apple?
Mhm.
That's your fault. As the parent. Sorry.
I supposed to?
Sorry, but you're the problem. But I'm just like, but they would literally like, it would be like in the middle of the day or something, you know what I mean? And it would just
Mhm.
be like they're coming into their medical appointment to have their attitude evaluated, and then the mom's in a pissed off mood. The kids are like irritated. They're just shoving them full of sugar, and I'm like, you're mad. They're full of sugar. You're just gonna keep getting mad. They're just gonna keep getting hyper. Like, I don't, and you want to give them medication to fix that? Like, what? What do you mean? You know what I mean? So I feel like I think that going towards a route where I can educate people about their food choices is like, I think that that would just be beneficial, and I feel like that's the way. Because whenever I was looking at jobs at that point in my life, I was like, I just remember thinking to myself, like, what do I want to do with my life? I want to help people. How can I help people with the abilities that I have?
Mhm.
And I thought that putting myself in that position would be like the best use of my skill set. Because I am a people person, I can bring more people into somewhere, you know what I mean? And like, I feel like I just by being a happy, bubbly person, I can help retain clients. And that was kind of my thought process. And also, it was like in the middle of COVID and there was a lot of jobs available. So I did that. And then I just like more and more was just like, I don't think that medication is the solution. I think I think that it goes far beyond medication. I think that medication is a crutch. And then during that time while I was working there, I was stressing myself out so much that I was causing myself to have gastrointestinal issues, and I was vomiting every day. I was having diarrhea for every single bowel movement. I couldn't eat anything that nothing sounded good. I would eat applesauce for breakfast and oranges and bananas for lunch, and that was really all that I could keep down, and like just like fruit. And then I thought to myself, what could I do? I went to the doctor. They couldn't find anything. They did ultrasounds. They did X-rays. They did everything. I went to a surgeon, and he was like, "Will you take out your gallbladder and see if that's the issue?" But we don't know until we do that. And I was like, "What? You're gonna take out a perfectly healthy organ,
Right? What happened to do no harm?
right?" Because they're making money if they do these tests. They're making money when they give you medication. They're making money when they you come see them every month. They're making money whenever they do the surgery. They're they just keep benefiting from not telling you what the root cause is. And not one time did one doctor say, "How are your stress levels? Let's check your endocrine system. Let's see how your cortisol is doing. Let's give you
Yeah,
let's check
every
your
doctor only
hormones."
cares about making money, not making you better.
Yeah. And so I was like,
If you happen to get better, that's just a side effect of what they're doing.
right. And so then after I saw this surgeon, after I got to the point where I saw the surgeon, he was like, "Yeah, do you want to do the surgery?" I was like, "Absolutely not." For what? For it to not work?
Right.
Like he literally was like, "There's a 50-50 chance. We take it out, it works. We take it out, it doesn't work. We figure out something else. We might take out another organ. I don't know." Like, so then that's whenever I was like, there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
And then so then I started going through like my knowledge and like the stuff that I had been through.
Yeah.
And I was like, we just gotta change our diet, and that'll fix everything.
Hmm.
And within 2 months, I was perfectly healthy. 2 months. I just ate fruits and vegetables and white rice and chicken and things that grew out of the ground, and that was it. So like, why didn't they say to do that?
Right.
Why couldn't the doctors just be like, "Hey, what are you eating? Let's check your gut health. Let's do," which they did an endoscopy. So they went into my mouth and down into my esophagus and my upper stomach. And so they were already in there. They could have just taken a little swab of something and then been like, "Hey, your gut microbiome out of this world. Awful. So toxic. Let's fix that."
Yeah, no.
So then that's whenever I decided, well, maybe I should, which I originally I wanted to do like holistic. I wanted to be a holistic doctor, but Diego doesn't want to move right now. So, which the only places that you can do that in America, surprisingly, are some of the worst places in America: Chicago,
Mm.
Portland, Seattle, Phoenix, which Phoenix I feel like is not that bad. Um, there is a place in Canada. I want to say it's in Vancouver. Um, and then the other place that's not really North America is not Cuba. It's on one of those islands down there, but it's like something like that.
Puerto Rico?
Yeah, good job. And yeah, so you can go there, and you can also get the degree to practice in America.
Did you see that TikTok they sent you the other day of Selena, the chubby girl with black hair? She's talking about Kim Kardashian, what she did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
See, that machine looks so cool. I would love to do that.
A twenty five
But
hundred dollars is not that bad.
it really isn't. It's like an MRI machine. This is how she explained it. It's like an MRI machine. It like scans your body, and you can literally see everything that's going on inside of your body from head to toe. Every little thing that's going on. And what she found out from hers was that she like had like a hole in the base of her skull that her brain, can't think of the name of that part of the brain, but it like sticks down through the hole and it's not supposed to. So she's got like a little nub hanging out of her skull. And it's a cause for a lot of her issues. And she found out that she has like diverticulitis and like all these other things that has been wrong with her and has like been mostly the causes for all her bad health over the years. And I just so bad want to do it. Like if I had $2,500 and knew where I could go to do that, I'd have it done in a heartbeat.
I mean, my suggestion is to get a loan and
Getting a loan for anything.
do a Google search.
I mean, I'll do a Google search, but I ain't getting a loan. I'll just save up. I'll do it eventually.
I mean, what's your health worth? An hour later. But
I feel like I have more important things I need to do first.
like what?
Like get my own place, pay my car off, all that stuff.
How do you know that getting healthy isn't going to be the pathway for you to do that stuff?
I mean, it could be.
Like you said, I mean, like, do you know how much harder it is to do something while you're unhealthy than it is to get healthy and do those exact same things? It's 10 times easier to walk a mile when you're healthy than it is when you're unhealthy. So, why are you going about your day to day life? Like, why not make health a priority? You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess I could when you put it that way.
It's just changing your mindset because, like, I feel like that's like an anxious mindset, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to like change your priorities around
Mhm.
and the way that you think to, because that's what I tell Diego all the time, because he's like stressed out about work and everything, and like work and trying to provide and all this stuff. And I'm like, if you're not healthy, you can't do it better. You know what I mean? You're gonna get worse trying to be better.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in during my time at the mental health clinic, is that, like, because I was trying to do all of these things, and I was trying to, and it was at a time in my life where I wasn't going to school. I wasn't, like, I was like recovering from like being burnt out, going to school. I had just graduated, and all I was doing was working at this place, but I was getting paid for 40 hours a week, but I was working probably 60 hours a week.
Mhm.
And it was just stressing me out. And this stress was making me so unhealthy that I couldn't do anything else in my life, because I was so tired from working that much and being stressed out. And whenever you're stressed out, the cortisol in your body makes you feel like you're constantly just overworking and being overstimulated, and then on top of that, like
See,
trying
I
to
refuse to work without getting paid. If you're not paying me, I am not doing anything on my own.
see. Well, I'm that way now too, but then it just didn't seem like an option. You know what I mean? It was just like this thing has to be done, and it's it's only going to take 40 minutes, so like I don't have time to clock in, it needs to be done right now, you know what I mean? And then like I couldn't change it after the fact, you know what I mean? Like if I didn't clock in beforehand. And then sometimes like it would be something that just popped up, and like the doctor would call and I would have to do something right then and there, so I didn't have time to clock in. It was just like, hey, I need
Well,
you to do this right now. And
at that point, I'd be like, well, maybe if instead of working hourly, you need to pay me a salary where I make the same amount of money every week, no matter the hours I work, if that makes sense.
yeah, but I was at it didn't make sense to have an admin that was paid a salary. Does that make sense?
It does.
And oftentimes when you which it wouldn't have mattered because it would have been the same situation anyways. But oftentimes, whenever you do take a salary, you do end up working a lot more overtime that you're not getting paid for. So it doesn't end up working out in your favor either, anyways. So
Fuck corporate America.
yeah, yeah. Every time I've taken like an office job, I've hated it. I think one of my favorite jobs actually was when I was a school photographer. That one was really fun. And I didn't make very much money, but it was pretty fun. I got to go to new places every day. I got to see new people every day. I got to work with new people every day. So I enjoyed it. It was frustrating at some points.
Especially taking kids yearbook pictures or whatever they were.
Like especially whenever you're I remember I went to this one school, and it was literally like kindergarten through third grade or something.
Oh Lord.
And we were doing the kindergartners ones. The kindergartners were the best class out of all of the grades. The kindergartners. They walked in, they were freaking cute. They just stood exactly where you told them to stand. They put their little hands in their pockets and they were just like, you know, they were so freaking cute, and they were quiet. They didn't talk, you know, in the line while they were waiting. They just waited for their turn, and then they went to their class. And they were so good. And then we get
See,
to
I
the third
remember
graders.
kindergarten. We were hellions.
We get to the third graders, and then the person that I was working with, she literally stands up and she goes, I don't understand why all these kids in this school are the worst acting. I cannot believe that the kindergartners that the kindergartners were so much better than you guys. This is ridiculous. You guys need to shut your mouth. Like she was so mad, and which we were told that we were only supposed to be there from like 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. or to 12 p.m.
Well,
7 to 12, so it was only supposed to be a 5 hour day.
oh Lord.
And then, but we ended up being there until almost 4 o'clock. Yeah, which that's like on the school, not on our manager, I think. But it was just it was just so crazy. And she was like so mad, and she was like, the third graders, I cannot believe the freaking kindergartners are acting better than you. And then they all were just like, and I was like, tell them, yeah. But I would say that was probably the only school where the kindergartners were really good. The other schools that we did kindergarten, I was like, can you just listen for a minute? Just shut your mouth and stand where I told you to stand. And
How I felt about Ellen. She kept trying to climb up on her little table. I kept telling her no. And it got to the point where she'd walk over there, she'd put like a hand on the table and she'd just look at me. And I'd say, no, don't do it. And she'd just keep eye contact with me as she like slowly climbed up on the table. I'm like, trying to beat the ever letting you. But like, she just looks at you, eye contact. Kind of like I took her off the table, I went put her in timeout, and she just sat in timeout for like literally just a minute. I got up and immediately went back and tried to do it again. She
It's
did this.
testing the boundaries.
She did this like 20 times. I was so frustrated. I was like, I don't know what to do with this boy. And then like her scratching.
I mean, I would take the table away. I would
What
literally
am I gonna do with the table?
figure something out, put it out, and take it out of her field of view. So you can't, you don't do what I tell you to do at the table, you don't get the table anymore.
And then, this other thing that she started doing, the scratching. Which I mean, she's been doing it, but like it's gotten bad recently. Like she'll just run up to you and just down your arm and then run away.
And smack her.
Oh, I do. Every if I catch her, I'll grab her hand, I'll smack her hand, I'll tell her, "We don't hurt people. That's not nice." And she'll just cry and scream like I slapped her across the face or something, and like it's like I did that to your hand, and she's just.
But you know that most of that is because she knows that if she cries, she's gonna get away with it, or she's gonna, you know what I mean? Somebody's gonna comfort her, coddle her.
I know, mom doesn't help.
But do you know what you want to do with?
My current plan is to figure out what is going on with the hiring freeze at the casino, and I'm gonna get my job back there. And then my next goal after that is to save up some more money and get an apartment in Bartlesville.
So do you want to? Do
Part
you
of me,
want to work at the casino, or is that just seem like an easy option
I
and
mean,
fast money, or what do you think?
like I never minded working at the casino. Like it was always an easy job. It was a good job, and I made good money there, and I enjoyed the people most of the people I worked with. But now that that one lady's gone, I don't have to worry about really any drama, and I can keep to myself, especially if I'm going to be working overnights again, because that was my favorite shift. It's kind of why I like that job. And the benefits, the insurance was great. Like, when I went in to have Ellie, they straight up said, "This is the best insurance we've ever seen." So, like, I know the medical insurance is great, and the bonuses that we get each quarter were great. So, I mean, like, there's just so many benefits that it's kind of hard to just not go back. But at the same time, it's kind of like a fear of doing something different. And, like, what if I don't like it? Like, and I get stuck there.
So, anyways, did you not? Do you not want to do hair now?
Um,
Did you change your mind? Is that something that just seems
well, the
out of
only
reach?
reason I ever really wanted to do hair was because that, like, seemed easy. I could pick my own hours, like, basically run my own business.
Mhm.
But with Ellie, that's become something that seems overwhelming. And at the same time, I've thought about, going back to tech and just doing like our daycare program.
Mhm.
And maybe I can get licensed to do daycare. And then, because there's not many daycare providers around here. And then I could keep Ellie with me all day.
Literally, I thought about that the other day, and I was like, because in one of our episodes, I was rewatching it, and Ruby said something about like we're in a daycare desert where there's not any daycare, and I was thinking about that, like where I am in Oshalanda,
Mhm.
there's not any daycares, and but like I feel like maybe probably not, but I feel like whenever we were kids, like there was just like daycares galore, you know what I mean? So, but I feel like that would be. I feel like I mean I don't know how you feel about kids, but I think that would be like
I mean, I don't mind kids. I really don't. Like, I can take care of them. I can hang out with them. I can play with them all day. I can
you know,
teach them
teach them
things.
stuff. Yeah.
Like, I can do all that. Like, no problem. I just I think the parents are what's gonna be the issue.
That's okay. Which I can hook you up with a couple people. But I think that doesn't tech offer daycare?
I think so, yeah.
So they can go back to school and take Ella with you and put her in daycare. So what is it that you actually want to do? Like what makes your heart happy? That's how I like to operate.
I have no idea. Like,
What?
I have no idea. Don't look at me like that.
What do you mean?
I don't know what makes my heart happy other than Ellie. I mean, that's about it. What?
What do you do in your spare time? Like, do you do something creative in your spare time?
I don't do anything.
Maybe that's your problem. Start doing things and then figure out what you like.
No, like the most I do is like I'll go hang out with Tristan, but even then when we're hanging out, that we're just catching up on life. So
Is there something that you can like sit down and do and lose track of time doing?
any current hyperfixation I have, I guess I could, but it's like with my ADHD, it's hard for me to keep my focus on one thing for too long because eventually I'll overdo it and then I'll just get burnt out and I can't deal with it anymore. I guess I don't know how to better explain that. Words aren't my strong suit.
Can't you like limit yourself? If you know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this for an hour today, or like it's something that you love doing, so you're like you use it as a treat. You know how people are like, oh, I
Yeah,
ate
I
pizza all
mean,
week.
I could do that, but like when I get hyper fixated on something, like it could feel like I'm only doing it for half an hour, but in reality, like 7 hours have gone by and I forgot to go eat or drink or even go to the bathroom. Like,
But you can't do that like controllably, I guess.
no, do you remember when I was little and I'd get like a new book and I'd just sit and I would read the whole thing in one day?
No, I don't like reading.
Okay, well, when I was little, I would get a book and I would sit and I'd read the entire thing. Like I would not put the book down, and because I couldn't, I was hyper fixated on it, and it was like if you were to take this book away or snap my attention away from this book, you would immediately like throw me into like a spiral. Like I would lose my shit. I would be mad at you because like I was really into this and like you brought me back to reality basically. And it would just put me in a bad place if you were to break my fixation on something.
Yeah, that sounds like. I mean, I understand where you're coming from because I can do that too. Like I can get really into something and then like Diego will say something to me, like I'm trying to focus on something on my iPad. He's asking me a question or he's like telling me to watch this part of the show or something, and then I get frustrated because I get pulled out of it, and then but like I guess the difference is I don't let it affect me to that point. Like I stop
Well, it's
myself.
it's not a matter of letting it affect me. Like ADHD, like it affects your emotions as well as your mind. So like with your emotions, it's hard to control them. That's why a lot of people with ADHD are known to be like people who fly off the handle really quick or get angry or just blow up. Because with our emotions, there's no in between. It's 0 or 100, nothing in the middle. So it's hard sometimes, especially when you grew up having to like mask that and hold back, I guess, not being allowed to show your emotions.
See,
That makes
this is where we're like the same but like opposite ends of the spectrum because I know like I know what you mean because I also have ADHD. I don't have like a diagnosis and I don't take medicine for it, but I also have ADHD. So I know what you're talking about, but I feel like I've learned to control it instead of just being like, I have ADHD, that's just how I am. You know what I mean? I've like
and I mean, like, in
learned
certain
to slow
cases,
it
I
down
can,
and
but, like, there's just sometimes where it's just, like, I didn't have time to prepare for it, and it's just whatever it was caught me by surprise, and it's just, like, you know, I can't control what happens, if that makes sense.
yeah, I'm just not of the mindset that I'm not in control. So I think that's just the difference is my mindset is that I'm always in control of my emotions and how I act and things like that. And so like even if it is like I snap and I'm like, what the fuck do you want? I'm like, okay, I'm sorry that I act like I can immediately be like, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can do that too, but, it's still, like, trying to control that immediate outburst. What?
I mean like I understand that sometimes you can't, but like what I'm saying is you just can't let that spiral. Like I can like snap and then but then immediately I'm like, okay, sorry, I was focused on this and I just explained like what happened. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I was focused on this and you said this. Sorry, my brain just didn't what is it that you were asking of me? You know what I mean? And then I just have like I can snap and then I'm like, okay, that was my fault. I'm sorry, you didn't do anything. I was focused on this. You were trying to pull my attention away. It bothered me for a minute. What is it that you need? Rather than being like, well, you pulled me. I was doing something, and instead of like continuing to have that negative reaction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, something in my own.
I feel like this would be. I would really like to hear other people's comments on this. Like, are there other people out there that think the way I do? Or does everybody think the way that you do? I don't know. You know what I mean? I would love to see a discussion on this because I feel like it hasn't always been that way. Because especially whenever I was younger, I would be like the biggest example that I can think of is I would be like looking for something, and whenever I'm looking for something, I'm like trying to remember like I'm literally putting myself in my own footsteps and I'm trying to remember where I put it, what would I do with it, why would I have done that, and I'm trying to like go through all of that in my head, and then somebody like outside of me is like, did you put it here? And then I would immediately be like, why would I do that? Why would I have done that? Or why would you say that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, instead of, which I also feel like that was kind of just like the environment that we were in. Like, nobody was really like helpful. They just like said things and then expected you to do it instead of like getting up and helping you do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I would just like snap in that way. But then I feel like the older that I've gotten, the more that I'm like, I can't just act that way and expect other people to be okay with it and then not be able to like regulate those emotions. So I feel like I've just like over time just been like, I need to be more in control, and I've figured out how to do that. Have you done mushrooms? Maybe we should do some mushrooms.
Done them once in my life, I got a damn good double egg recipe out of it.
Yeah, maybe you should try. Which I am a big advocate for psychedelic things like that. Like, I think weed can be abused, but I also think that it can be helpful. I think that mushrooms, I've never seen somebody who has like an issue with mushrooms. I've never
Right.
heard of anything like that, but I have heard thousands of stories where people talk about how greatly it has affected their lives and how their lives have been changed so much by it. Also, things like peyote and ayahuasca, which I know where we are, like Native Americans use peyote, and more in South America, they use ayahuasca. And I've always wanted to go on an ayahuasca journey. That's something that um, I really wanted to do last year in December. I wanted to go and do that, but then after a honeymoon trip, it just wasn't financially feasible. Um, but I do want to
Why
look
didn't you just do that for your honeymoon?
because Diego doesn't want to. It's something that I'm gonna have to do like by myself. He doesn't want to do it. He's not.
I'll do it with you.
He's
Okay.
not like a. He's not a mind altering person in that way, and he also doesn't see it as he's not very spiritual. I guess I'll say that he's not like he doesn't like weed because of the way that it affects his mind, and therefore like psychedelics, he just like it just has a bad taste in his mouth um, because he just has not had good experiences. Um, so it's just not something that he's really interested in. However, I think I think that it is something that is like could be life changing and like very very spiritual and like even though which his thing is like it's very hard on your body and so that's like a lot of like his what's the word that I'm thinking of like didn't want to do it
I feel like it's gonna tip on your tongue, but
like yeah like he's like that's like his drawback or something like that, you know, like that's like his reasoning for like not really wanting to because whenever I told him about it I was like yeah you go to this retreat for 7 days and like you detox before and then like you they feed you like fruits and vegetables and nuts and stuff to like keep you healthy and like keep um, your energy levels up because every night whenever you go on this journey you're drinking this tea and you're vomiting and you're shitting your brains out, yeah, like they give you they give you a bucket like a
hopefully 2 buckets.
they give you a bucket and you like can use it to vomit into or to have diarrhea in and as far as I know you're in a room with multiple other people having this same experience.
So everybody's expected to vomit and shit in these buckets in front of everybody, you know?
I believe so. As far as far as I know, I think so.
I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like puking, one thing, sure, I could probably get over that. But having to pull my pants down to shit in a bucket in front of, in front of 12 other people, no, ma'am, no, ma'am.
I see. I think that because you're all on the same journey. You know what I mean? You're all there for similar reasons. You're all there to
I wouldn't
like
care.
better.
I'd be like, nobody see my coochie or my booty.
I yeah. I feel like I'm not that way. I'm very. I think that that's so. I've never been a modest person, so I think that it would be totally fine for me. I would be fine with that. It would be okay for me. And then, but then you're also on like this journey where you're seeing things and you're so deep in your mind that you probably aren't aware that that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not going to be focused. If you're
Yeah.
focused on what everybody else is doing in the room, you're not on the right journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to focus on anything else, but are they watching me shit my brains out in this bucket?
Well,
Like, that's the only thing that's gonna be going through my mind.
and then, but like another thing is people say that they have been stopped from being able to have the right experience because of the sounds that people make, because they say that people are making sounds like almost like they're possessed, and they're, they're like moaning, and they're like, they're like, oh, like the whole time, and it either sounds like they're possessed or they're having an orgy or something like that, and like, but you just have to be able to like be on your own journey. It's a very, very spiritual experience.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I know. I told Diego that I don't think that I don't know anybody else like myself that is willing to go on a journey like that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I just could. I felt like that for a long time, and it makes me really excited to like think about it, and it weirds him out that I would be excited to go and have an experience like that
Yeah, no,
with
ma'am.
strangers.
No, ma'am. Not with strangers. I could go with my closest friends. You, like, I, mm, I could go with a bunch of strangers, and I just can't get past the shitting in a bucket.
Well, the first
I
part, like
can't.
the first night, is not really about the journey. It's more about learning your tolerance, and so I think for me that sounds like the worst.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person I like to push my limits.
I
I
do
like to
too.
figure out my tolerance real fucking quick.
Well, it's like they give you a cup of tea, and then they wait like 30 minutes and see how you are. And then if you're not there, then they give you another cup of tea and then see how you are. And if you're not there,
I
then
hope it doesn't work the way edibles work on me, because if that were the case, like when I take edibles, right? So I'll take one, and if I wait half an hour, I know I don't care, but like I'll take one, and then like half an hour later, uh, if I don't feel anything, I'll take another one, and then when I do start to feel it, if I decide I want to take more later on, if I take more, I don't feel like they affect me. Like I feel like I start like if I'm to take it when I feel like I'm starting to come down from the first edibles, um, I'll just go ahead and like come down. Like I won't get more high. Like it was ineffective.
yeah, I feel like that. Like if you're smoking all day, and then like at the end of the or like towards the end of it, you're just like, nah, it's not really affecting me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why that is or why that's a thing, but like if I were to like eat those two edibles, right? And then I start to come down and I decide I'm not done being high and I want to eat more, like say I'll eat two more, they won't affect me at all. I'll just be eating them and wasting them.
See, okay, so whenever I found I kind of did an experiment for a couple of years, but whenever I was drinking a lot,
I can't drink and do edibles. It
there
gives me
well,
panic attacks
this
and
was
I
before
cry and it's a whole thing.
this was before I got into smoking, but I I would, if I was in a certain mindset, I essentially couldn't get drunk. I could start drinking, but it just all depended on the mindset that I was in when I started drinking. So if I was in a certain mindset when I started drinking, I could drink a 30 pack and be fine. You know what I mean? Like I would be buzzed, but I wouldn't be blackout drunk. I wouldn't be slobbering. I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be like mumbling my words or anything. Like I would be fine. But then there was other times where I would not be in that mindset. I would be in a different mindset, and I would drink like 10 beers, and I would be like close to blacking out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like your mind is so powerful.
Yeah, and I understand what you mean because, like, when I'm drinking, I have sometimes where it's like, I could drink this whole bottle of liquor and I'd be perfectly fine. And then I have other times, and it's usually the times where I'm like, I don't give a fuck what happens. I just want to get drunk. Like, where I'm like in like a shitty mindset, like where I'm like depressed and I'm like, I'm just gonna drink. Those are usually the times where I get fucking shit faced real quick and real easy because I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
I feel like yeah. I feel like sometimes I can be. I don't know. I feel like I've done it. I've like been able to drink a lot, both in negative mindsets and in really positive mindsets. But I think more often, if I start off in a mindset where I'm like, where I'm more positive rather than negative, I think that I can drink a lot more. You know what I mean? And be fine rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
Is that your experience too? Do you guys also? So tell us your experience with drinking. Let's hear your experiences with mushrooms. Um, are you
Edibles.
guys gonna go on an ayahuasca journey? Have you gone on an ayahuasca journey?
Have you tried peyote?
What did you do then? Um, what was the other one that I was thinking of? Was it the ADHD one? If you have ADHD, let's hear your thoughts on emotion regulation
Yes.
and let us know. I'm very curious. You can email us stbt2024@gmail.com. We're on TikTok now. TikTok, we're on
We've been
Instagram,
on
we're
TikTok,
on
but we are more now.
Facebook. Anything else? I think that's all the things.
Yes.
So hit us up, shout us out, write us, let us know. I'm really curious to hear
Yes.
everybody's
We want to
thoughts.
hear from you.